Hi, and welcome to the weekly predictions based on astrology for the week of October 19, 2020. My predictions previously posted on Sunday on my blog at tolstunka.com were that on Monday the market will go down in the morning, but then there will be some unexpected announcement and that it would recover and go up by the end of the day. It actually went down quite significantly. I think Dow Jones lost like 400 points. However, I think the market will still recover and go up for the week. So on Tuesday, however, things do not look as good. So I think Tuesday will be a down day. Then I think again, Wednesday market may reverse to up. Thursday market may reverse again to down. And then finally on Friday, I think it will be an up day. So to me, this week looks like this zigzaggy kind of a pattern, with virtually every day showing a different direction from the previous day. However, in terms of overall week, Monday and Tuesday, 19th and 20th of October look like the most significant dates, both in terms of just large moves for the stock market, regardless of the direction, important announcements, as well as sort of geopolitical events, weather events, accidents, disasters, and quakes. And in fact, already as I'm recording this at the evening of the 19th, I did see that there was a major 7.5 earthquake in Alaska. So this is definitely consistent with this strong kind of a energy day. Let's see, and other types of events that we may expect, especially related to the stock market, and especially around 16th, or rather starting in the 16th of October through about the 21st, is we may expect increased focus on all things related to like oil, gas, pharmaceuticals, maybe also beverages, water, pollution, and this may involve excessively wet weather, some news again related to like these ocean lakes, etc. Or it could be news about again oil and gas and or companies that somehow are related to like audio and visual equipment. And we may hear about the value of either these companies or related products potentially going down or definitely fluctuating, where something may be seen as overvalued and therefore the value is adjusted down. As I said, on Monday and perhaps also on Tuesday, there may be important sort of a sudden unexpected news, and those may lead to increased volatility in the stock market direction, and the affected areas in particular will include again oil, gas, pharmaceuticals, beverages, etc., chemicals. Also, any sort of banking stocks, financial institutions, or news about earnings that again are unexpected, especially for companies that are related to communication and transportation. And third area where there may be unexpected news or sudden developments, sudden abrupt start or stop of some program is airspace or like airlines, any sort of like drones, rockets, any flying objects, high-tech, IT, telecommunications, and electric cars, electronic gadgets, and so forth. And this unexpected news, or perhaps a deal or sale or any kind of a contract that may be reached at this time, or perhaps there's a program that begins at this time, it actually, the conditions of that program or that deal or the deal itself may be revised, or canceled, or completely kind of revamped later on, sometime around November 16 and or 17 of this year. Let's see, for Tuesday, as I said, this will likely be, in my opinion, a down day, and particularly for US, it may see minor negative news, such as reduced earnings or reduced sources of funding for areas related to either military, weapons, engines, racing, like cars, especially fast cars, or any, I guess, machinery that again uses various kind of hot sort of engines to propel itself forward. Then also casinos or entertainment, or any risky projects, again, like I said, racing, fighting, anything that involves a lot of this kind of a heated sort of force or brute force There may be some news about these areas where perhaps either projects or initiatives in those areas may be seen as either losing their value or not worth the investment, or some other kind of minor news about that. And globally, there may be, on Tuesday, there may be increased news about some either prominent individuals or individuals who may not have been prominent before, but somehow somebody's become like this celebrity, for a day or two on TV because they were in the right place in the right time. And most likely it will be, I would say, a woman or somebody who is related to like cooking, not to stereotype women, but just because it has to do with moon, and astrologically it would have to do with like cooking, cleaning, domestic chores or family, motherhood, etc. Let's see, and then for Friday, again for the US, the 23rd looks like an important day where there will be important news again about leaders, but this time it's specific to the US. And this may again involve women and or males who are specifically either into fashion, or as in like fashion industry, or they're wealthy, or perhaps it has to do with like jewelry, either businesses who own jewelry, or people who are again maybe fashion designers who are known for designing jewelry, or just celebrities who again just maybe are famous and wealthy, and especially if they're women. So there may be some news about those kind of individuals on Friday. Perhaps again they're featured in the news for something that they've achieved. And they're also maybe focused on the US itself as a country being a leader in the area of finance. So perhaps there's a new project announced, or there's some news about the value of dollar, or some specific, again, financial projects funding, or supporting some initiative that specifically puts US on the global, I guess, scale as some sort of a leader in finance. And those most likely will be positive news. So perhaps increased earnings or increased financial stability. And then again, this would be more like for banks or industries that have to do with like, again, jewelry or fashion, or anything that has to do with like beautifying something, maybe design or something like that. And if there are some international agreements that are reached at that time, like some sort of contract sales, etc., they will be beneficial for the US long term. At the same time, more or less at the end of the week, starting about the 24th of October through about December 8th, for China, this will be an important period as well, where there may be also an important announcement related to either banks or financial institutions, earnings, currency, loans, taxes, tariffs, insurance, etc. And at that time, China may announce some sort of a new goal in that area that will either aim to like increase earnings, or to reduce losses, or to establish again some sort of dominant position again in the banking and finance area. So this will be either one sort of ongoing project, or perhaps there will be two announcements. One announcement may come around the 29th of October, and then another one around November 27, 28. So either some two highlights independent one of another of the other, or perhaps two stages where maybe at the end of October there's an announcement, and then maybe it's implemented, or some follow-up action occurs at the end of November. So to quickly glance ahead on what might be happening in the upcoming weeks, and as I mentioned, I think last week on the 16th of October, there was this new moon that was a supermoon, and there was some interesting transits occurring to it at that time, and so definitely this will be an important lunar month, starting 28 days approximately, or exactly, from the 16th of October. So it definitely involves this week, and we'll cover, I believe, the upcoming elections in the US, certainly an intense month, and in general November we'll see a lot of stressful aspects, and that's globally. So definitely I would say pay attention to events because there may be additional stress, and if, say, people are driving around, they may feel more stressed than usual. So kind of definitely stay aware of your surroundings, etc. So in terms of, again, stock market for US, like November 3rd through 16th looks significant, and that's in terms of increased focus on businesses related to like chemicals, oil, gas, pharmaceuticals, navy, beverages, drugs, religion, as well as audiovisual equipment and or like movies, etc. And actually, for those areas, this period from November 3rd through 16th may be beneficial, and either the value of those businesses may go up or their profits may go up. And that the period may also see increase in real estate prices, and or there may be news about banks' assets increasing at that time. And sort of shortly after that, or I guess overlapping slightly with this period, for the US again, November 13th through December 10th looks like an important period, especially November 18, 19, and then December 3 through 10, where there may be again increased news about earnings, banks, financial institutions, as well as education and communication and transportation businesses. And at this time, there might be some significant announcements of either major changes, especially even legal changes as far as like legal status and funding, or maybe conditions under which these businesses are allowed to operate, conditions for borrowing, maybe some tax changes or some obligations that previously these businesses have. Some status of those financials, particularly obligations, may change, and this will most likely be a legal change, as in through some sort of a law. And this may also affect students, both in sort of just regular schools, but also perhaps international students or students who have to travel either outside of the US or vice versa, international students who come to the US. There may be some, again, changes around that area, as well as perhaps changes in the actual price, of college, and or just situation related to taxes and finance, and again, either colleges or education in general, or communication, transportation businesses, but definitely some major changes, and most likely there will be of legal nature, where it's some sort of a law that's passed. Let's see. And then, as I mentioned already a few times, I think in my various weekly prediction videos, is that I think that on a sort of a medium scale, like multi-week, multi-month even scale, sometime in November, mid-November, like from the 13th through the 16th of November, we may see a major either top or bottom, most likely I think the top in the market, and the major change may come around sort of the weekend of the 14th and 15th of November, where there might be a major reversal from the 13th to the 16th, and potentially this will be the time where maybe the results of the US elections are finalized, or some other major announcement occurs over the weekend, and it changes the direction from the 13th to the 16th. Let's see, and in terms of the ongoing kind of a background influences, we do have this really major slow transits that will be with us through the end of this year, which then often corresponds with either, again, major disasters, significant geopolitical changes, epidemics, and just really a lot of like turbulent times, on which of course we have seen 2020 to, I guess, fulfill that sort of prophecy. And this week, this energy is the strongest on the 19th and 20th. And as I said already, we did have this 7.5 earthquake in Alaska. However, I think on the 20th, this energy will continue to be quite strong, and there may be, aftershocks in that same area, or some additional problems, or it could be problems for leaders, people who are in power again for a long time, as we've seen with various leaders who either had retired this year or were removed. those leaders, it will be hard for them to kind of hang on to power because the energy is there for things to change. And then to kind of, let's see, to cover, I guess, some additional background influences, something, I guess, as I was mentioning, these earthquakes and this particular week, especially early in the week, is an important time where this may occur. And however, right now we have this energy under Mars being retrograde and making a tense aspect to like a trio of Jupiter, Saturn, and Pluto in Capricorn. Of course, Capricorn has to do with mountains and, you know, earth and tunnels and bridges and mudslides and things like that. So those kind of shakeups of both, you know, the actual structures, shakeups of the earth, and shakeups at the top, literally, of like corporations or governments, etc. So definitely time of shakeups. However, we're not quite through with this energy yet for this year, and it actually is going to come back from about the mid-December of this year through the end of December, and especially around shortly before Christmas, so around the 23rd of December looks like a fairly kind of a stressful time, which again, there might be a large earthquake or some shakeup again at the top of the government or corporate restructuring, or literally accidents involving like hills, mountains, tunnels, things that are really high, and, you know, things that fall down, or there's like a fire in a building that's specifically tall, or fire in a tunnel, etc. So there may be additional tribulations in, like I said, second half of December. And of course, this will be after the US elections. And again, just quick sort of a look that I took at the 20th of January 2021, which is the inauguration day. It is interesting. This will definitely not be a mellow sort of a day. So regardless of who wins, it definitely is going to be a day of surprises and maybe even violent surprises. And again, the day is kind of a somewhat stressful on the global level as well. It's not just for the US. So we will have Mars conjunct Uranus and Moon in Taurus, and we will have, you know, square to like Sun and Saturn, and especially more precisely to Jupiter. So definitely there'll be a lot of tensions and surprises and sudden changes. At the very minimum, there may be maybe some disruptions in, say, flights because of excessively windy weather, or power outages, again, due to maybe strong winds, or just cut cables, or some sparks are flying and there's fire, and again, you lose power, or some problems with power stations, again, because of just accidents, some, you know, sparks flying, or it could be literally a lot of just kind of this heated energy and sort of overreaction, and it may affect financial area, because again, we have this conjunction of Mars and Uranus and Moon in Taurus, and that's for the 20th of January of next year. Let's see. And to quickly touch on specifically on oil, like I said, through the 21st, I think there will be increased news about oil, but then later on in November, there will be another period where there will be even more news about oil prices or oil producers. And finally, in terms of the coronavirus news, as I mentioned already previously multiple times, I think November will actually be the final wave. Especially, this may be true so for China, where they may be kind of wrapping up with the situation by, I'd say, in the end of the year for sure. But in November, there may be increased peak of news. This may have to do with either vaccines or treatments, or it may just have to do with, again, another wave that the even community internationally will be going through. But after this strong influence in November, I think things will start slowly, at least in terms of this COVID situation, will slowly start improving. That being said, we have still plenty of sort of tense aspects coming up in the 2021 as well. It will not have the same flavor, so to speak. Starting in December, we will have sort of changes in terms of the flavor of the things that may be troubling us, rather than having this disasters or pandemic, the focus may be on sort of either on the positive side, there could be inventions in the areas of like IT and high tech, or some electronics, or flying into space, or even airlines. So there might be changes there, or even in the financial sphere for sure, globally and in the US. At the same time, there may also be these sort of surprises coming, and this volatility where it may be just kind of hard to keep up with, and some people may find it stressful. So it just could be a different sort of focus for sure, but it may still be at the pace where there's just too many changes and some people may feel overwhelmed. So that wraps it up for me. Hope this was informative and interesting, and you'll come back and check me out next week. Until then, have a great one. Bye.